Subscribe right now and hit the bell icon, or this fat spider will crawl over your face while you sleep. Today, we will be showcasing the top 10 strangest things ever found in a snake, which will be sure to make you wonder how those noodle boys ever managed to swallow those things in the first place. The objects discovered inside of them range from actual human bodies to light bulbs. But our number 3 pick will blow your mind. So be sure to stick around and see all 10 picks. And now, let's begin with our number 10. Light bulbs. This story comes to us from the 1980s, where a 4-foot pine snake managed to somehow swallow a whole batch of light bulbs all on its own. As it turns out, the family that occupies the land there threw the light bulbs onto the yard, and upon seeing them, the snake couldn't help but chomp them whole. What's interesting about this case is that the snake was totally fine with eating them whole, which is what ended up saving its life, since if one of them were to break inside, the poor reptile would have suffered a lot of pain and even lose its life in the process. Luckily, after a 45-minute operation, the light bulbs were safely removed from inside of its belly and it was freed into the wild. Number 9. A towel. That's right, this happened in 2014, and as you can tell already, nobody was happy to find out about the reptile's dietary plan, including the snake itself. This was all recorded by a local reptile hobbyist from the Tampa Bay area, as he tried to feed the snake a live rat to show his followers, but as soon as it plunged itself towards the small rat, it ended up grabbing a hold of the towel next to it, swallowing it whole. The reptile hobbyist was just as shocked as the veterinarian team that had to help the reptile, to say the least. Number 8. A slipper. This unfortunate event comes to us from the west of Brisbane, where an elderly couple came across a snake wiggling around their home. As they inspected it closer, however, they couldn't help but notice the strange lump that it had on its belly, and before they knew it, they put together that that's where the missing slipper must have gone all along. So, they called a team of professionals to help the poor reptile, and just like that, they had their slipper back in no time. Number 7. An empty bottle. This next news might deter you from ever littering again, as most people don't think twice about where their trash goes, but this incident will definitely make you think again before discarding any empty bottles on the ground. As it turns out, this python ended up swallowing a whole bottle on its own, and as it got confronted by the locals, it tried its hardest to run to cover. But to no avail, as the bottle made it impossible to make a quick escape anymore. So, with no other way around it, the python ended up coughing up the empty bottle and running away to safety. Number 6. BBQ Tongs. As you may have realized by now, these are the smartest specimens out there. This case, however, is beyond silly, as the snake ended up chomping down on a set of barbecue tongs, leaving no room for dessert whatsoever. You may think that this is a joke, but the owners that were forced to pull the tongs out from its mouth were anything but laughing at the situation. Number 5. A porcupine. This is quite a sad story, unlike the other ones we've listed so far. This is because the snake in question, albeit not the smartest specimen in the world, ended up losing its life after being spotted in the wild by a random cyclist that was shocked to see the utter size of the reptile. After being operated on, the veterinarians discovered an almost intact porcupine inside of it. Now, we've got nothing against living dangerously, but swallowing hundreds of sharp spikes all at once was definitely not the smartest move on the snake's part. Number 4. An electric blanket. This happened back in 2006, as the famous Burmese python, known as Houdini, broadcast its whole story live on camera for the world to see. The story stars Karl Beznaska, a local snake lover, and his famous 12-foot snake. And it all begins with the disappearance of a queen-sized electric blanket and the miraculous growth spurt of his pet snake. As he took his pet snake to the X-ray machine, it quickly became obvious what happened, as the veterinarian revealed that the python had not only ingested the cord and control box, but the blanket altogether too. Luckily, Houdini survived this nifty magic trick and lived to become somewhat of a minor celebrity amongst its peers. Number 3. Itself. You may think this is a joke, or that this is a reference to Ouroboros, the ancient symbol of a serpent eating its own tail. But it's neither of those actually. In fact, what you're looking at over here is just simply put, not the smartest snake out there enjoying a taste of its own tail. This can only end badly, as the fluids inside of the snake would have ended up really hurting it, even causing its demise. But luckily it was saved in time. Number 2. A whole part of a car. You may think we're making this up, but we promise you, we aren't. This happened back in 2015 in Black River, Queensland. where the team of professionals was called to inspect the strange appearance of a massive, mildly venomous reptile slithering around the area. As they spotted it, however, they quickly noticed the massive lumps on its stomach, and after x-raying the poor reptile, they saw the snake had ingested a part of a torsion bar of a car. However, the operation was a success and the snake made it out alive by the end of it. Number 1. A human being. By far one of the most gruesome stories we have to talk about today. This incident comes to us from Indonesia of all places, where a 54-year-old mother who went missing while taking care of her garden. Her 2 sons looked for her everywhere, but couldn't find her at all until, of course, they spotted the massive python that was so huge that it couldn't even move around on its own anymore. This is quite a sad event to say the least. But it helps show us the fact that even though nature can be beautiful, it can also be very scary. Stay safe out there and make sure to stray away from anything that can hurt you, regardless of how cute or fascinating they may seem. Which one of these was the strangest and scariest one for you? Do you know any similar stories that you'd like to share with us? Also, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button, and check out our other recommended videos that are popping up on the left and right side of the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and see ya!